for me, this is when I realized I love content, because I'm like, if I start over, you know what I'm going to do? No employees, no schedule, not even revenue goals. My only goal is going to be profitable and to create stuff.
Unlock the secret sauce of millionaire entrepreneurs. This is your exclusive VIP pass to the hidden world of the ultra successful business owners. I'm Chad Kaderi, CEO of DashClicks, and welcome to Behind the Revenue. What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Behind the Revenue. Today, we have my good friend Gusten from Freedom Funnels and many other brands that you guys probably recognize. You've probably seen him all over the internet, as I follow him for the last couple of years. We've been good friends. Gusten, man, what is it that you're up to right now? If you can give us just like a quick 30-second kind of overview as what is Gusten doing today?
Yeah, what's up, brother? It's great to be on the show. First of all, thank you for having me. I don't do a lot of these shows anymore, but when you reach out, I was like, yes, definitely want to be on your show. Man, I'm doing a lot of things. I am running the software we have. I'm doing funnel agency, done for you funnel builds. Trying to scale on YouTube, building the personal brand. Obviously, that's a huge asset that I think anyone should focus on. And doing consulting, a little bit of everything, as you see in these marketing guru spaces, if you will. Trying to be different than the typical gurus, but yeah, those are the main things I'm doing.
So I have a bunch of questions for you. So we're gonna have some fun today on this podcast. I want to peel the onion back and just get to know. You're doing a lot of things, which is great.
Yeah.
First question I have for you is somebody who's doing a lot of things. So you have basically this brand of like the funnel guy, right? You've been doing funnels for a long time. I'm assuming a lot of the stuff that you're talking about, whether it's you coaching, education, service side, software side, a lot of it, is it primarily based around funnels?
Yeah, I've actually tried building the brand to be like the funnel person, the funnel guy.
Yeah, which is great.
And yeah, it's great because then like you're known for something, right? And so I've now built like around 600 funnels, and I just noticed that some people just want like different stuff within the funnel industry. Like some people want me to build the funnels. Some people just want templates. And some people want education. Some people want to be certified. They don't have a business. They want to learn funnels to then do it for other business owners. And so I've just I've always looked at the market as fluid. I don't want to just do one thing. I want to have like multiple revenue streams.
Yep.
And I'm also a creative person. So I get bored very easily. If I just do one thing, I get super bored. So I'm like, what else can I do that's like fun and I can challenge myself? I can push myself. So a couple of years ago, I set out on a challenge to do 1,000 funnels. And at the time, I think I had like 100 or 200 funnel builds under my belt. I was like, I don't know if I'm going to get to 1,000, but if I set the goal, the end goal, like the goalpost in a decade, then I'll probably hit it. And I'm still on track to doing that. I was actually looking at my numbers, like we've done around 600 funnels in, I think, 6 years. Wow. So if we just do 2 per week, we'll hit it in a decade, 1,000 funnels. And here's the best part. Imagine what I get to see behind the revenue, right? Behind the businesses when I build these funnels for other people. So not only do I get paid, but I learn a lot of stuff, and it doesn't get boring because it's like sometimes it's positioning, it's copy, it's design, it's back-end revenue, it's all of those things.
Yeah. And by the way, for just to add some context for the audience here, you built one of our recent funnels that we launched. We had a Funnel Freedom Challenge, which was awesome. You built the funnel. It was a beautiful funnel. So if you guys are looking for a funnel, definitely Gusten is the man to use.
Thank you.
When you're looking at these funnels, you built over 600 funnels, and I know the world of funnels, you said, for the last 6 years. I know the world of funnels is kind of like changing. Like every year there's these new things, right? Like most recently there's a lot of like challenge funnels that are happening that you see. Right. In the past there was like webinar funnels, and automated webinars were explosive, which they still are, right? But what are you seeing like trending right now? And because you get to see the stats that most people don't get to see on these multi-million-dollar funnels that that are generating insane amounts of revenue and insane amounts of traffic. Like, what's the secret sauce for somebody who's looking to build a funnel and inject that funnel into their business?
Yeah. So it's actually more like funnel ecosystems. I talk about funnel ecosystems, and it's not just one funnel, but the main one that people are running right now, especially when they're doing paid ads, is a self-liquidating offer, a low ticket funnel. And I have one myself as well, which is kind of, it helps me to run these for other people as well, or build them, because I have one myself as well. And I call them wow bundles. So you take everything that you have and you create like plug and play assets, and you create a wow bundle. So when people see it, they go, wow, this is just $20, $30. And so it's easy to convince someone. They don't even have to trust you to buy it. It's just an impulse buy because of the offer. And so the offer is really like what makes the funnel work to a cold audience, because like I said, they don't know you yet, but they might be aware of maybe a software or a market or an industry at least, where they go, like AI right now. A lot of people are selling AI prompt bundles, and it's because people are hearing about AI. It creates a problem. They might not be aware of you, but you can go in a weekend. Literally, you can create an offer around AI. You can use AI to create the offer with, with the technology, and then you can launch it. And then I think the profit maximizer that most people miss out on is the back end. And it's not just the back end with the sales team, which we hear about a lot, right? We hear like you should have a back end sales team and appointment setters and everything. A massive gold mine that people are missing is actually what I call automated sales funnels. And it's very simple. It's just having sales page, order form, and confirmation page, not even like crazy upsells and downsells. It's just having, if you look at a front-end offer as like a quick win, the core automated sales funnel is just the full transformation. So if I sell templates as a wow bundle, I just said I can add upsells to get my ad spend back, but I would ask myself, like, what's the full transformation they're looking for? If someone is looking to become a funnel builder, it would be how to get clients. I'm gonna give you the weekly Q&A calls to help support you. I'm gonna give you the scripts to get clients. I'm gonna give you the full transformation, right? And so now you go from trying to self-liquidate the offer on day one to having a 30-day self-liquidating funnel. And with business credit, for example, you don't have to even use your own money. So you can have a front-end offer, an upsell, then have a 5-day email sequence of value, and then have a 7-day funnel. So the 7-day funnel is the next offer that you have. And then that could be a VSL, for an example, with a long form. You take the VSL and you build out a sales page and you sell them the full transformation. Guess what? Within 30 days, you can have 2 weeks of value, and you can do what I call like soft pitches, which is just like value. And then at the end of the email, so the email itself builds a desire to want more. And then the soft pitch would be, by the way, I know a percentage of you also like one-on-one support because this might be overwhelming. Here's more info, like reply back to us details if you want more info on that. So, and the funny part, real quick.
Yeah, go ahead.
Just real quick, because I know a lot of people who sell like back-end stuff, they think they need to either take all the sales calls or hire a sales team. We recently switched more towards like DM closing because I've done it more for my agency first, but now also for my consulting and coaching. And we noticed that people also, when they do trust you and the first product is good, they actually find it valuable.
Yep.
The upsells become easier. And now you just need to ask a few questions from them to make sure they're qualified. Then typically it's just a matter of like figuring out the payment plan. And so you sell them into the next thing without sales calls.
Can you give me like a quick funnel breakdown of your, let's call it like a value ladder, right? Like obviously you have a low ticket item, right? So like for $20 you're selling people, is it just a bundle of templates? Is that what it is?
It's $37 for 37 funnels. So okay. I'm moving it more towards like Figma so they can use it for any platform. So everything is within Figma. It's a free software. Anyone can edit and change the graphics and everything where people are listening. Like you can basically create all your assets there, the graphics, and then just upload it to any page builder. Yep. And so, I go from being in this like these smaller markets to broad. And anytime you go broad, you have to sort of not only make the offer broader, but also the messaging. So it has to be like, money-making websites, for an example. You change the wording around it, but I'm making the offer, yes, it's $37. I'm making it basically available for anyone with tutorials so they can implement it. Then
what's the next step up from that?
So I was going to say, when I talked about the front-end low tickets with paid ads, and I went on a tangent then with my rambling and strategies there. But actually with an organic audience, you don't have to have crazy upsells. You can just have, like, for example, let's say you put this on YouTube and you have like links to 4 offers. You could have a free community, you have the wow bundle, Then you have a full transformation and apply it for our one-on-one. Because typically people want quick result, full transformation, or one-on-one coaching to get the transformation. So you can have those all, and you don't have to have a value ladder where you have like front to end, you funnel, link them together. It's more of like every single week and every video that you put out and every content piece and email, lead them a little bit closer to the sale. So if you think about marketing, what it really is, it's just you list out all the reasons why they wouldn't buy. First, you have the positioning, obviously, what is the outcome they want and why is this different? But then all the messaging pieces are just like changing their beliefs a little bit. Or you think you're not good enough. Let's make a video about that. And then when they're ready, they just have one of those offers they can pick from based on their budget right now.
So you have, so it's a 30. I want to peel the onion back a little bit more to get more context. You have your $37 offer is your low ticket. We have something that's very similar. Dash Clicks, just to add some context. We have an agency launch secrets offer. It's $27. It's like a bundle of courses and products, and they get 30 days to Dash Clicks for free. So that's like our wow product, right? Wow, all of this for $27, right? So then what would be, and you're saying, and I want to make sure I understand like the strategy good. You're saying that when they buy that $37 product, there's no bumps or OTOs or anything. You're just taking them straight to the confirmation. Hey, real quick, if you're a marketing agency or a B2B service or software provider, DashClicks offers white label fulfillment services and software to businesses just like yourself. Go ahead and create your free DashClicks account. I went ahead and left a link in the show notes, or you could just go to dashclicks.com.
For me right now, it is because I haven't focused on optimization on that one. We're actually launching ads, and I'll add an order bump, and I'll add like one thing I'll add as an order bump is an ebook and audiobook. Gotcha. It's called 7-Figure Funnel, so it just fits perfectly with the actual offer. So it's the strategy to the funnel templates.
So let's say I buy that. I whip my credit card out. I buy that $37. I get all the Figma files. I get everything that I need. I'm inside of your ecosystem. You're saying that for the next 5 days, you're going to email me maybe
like value emails.
Yeah, value emails, getting me closer to maybe the next stage in my transformation.
Yeah, because it's narrative marketing, right? If you look at marketing, it's just, I talk about the beliefs. It's narrative. So what do I want you to think about? What's top of mind when the offer drops? And a lot of people think it's just like hype and getting them excited. It's actually more about like getting them to think about things that they normally didn't even see as like one. So for example, businesses, online businesses, a lot of people didn't see building funnels as a business option. So when I talk about like how I went from zero to this, or who I've worked with and these things, or my revenue streams, they're like, oh, I didn't even think about that. I thought that as an agency, you only have done for you services. I'm like, you could take everything you do in your service delivery and you could do consulting as a done with you, or even a done for you package, or you could even create a paid community where people come to learn from you. And so you take the same thing, but you create like 4 offers out of it.
So you're emailing them for 5-7 days, however long it is, and then you're value, right? And then you're basically offering them the next step in your value ladder, your transition period, whatever you want to call it, right?
Yeah.
What is that next thing?
It's around 1,000. I recommend you have a 500 to 2,000, typically around 1,000. I've seen like 795 or 797 work great as well, because people think that most courses are around like 997. So it's just like, oh, this is a good deal. You could even do a deal where it's like normally it's this much, and now because you're a customer of ours, you can get a $200 discount. I've sold over 1,000 people, so over $1 million from this one course through this front end to the automated sales funnel without sales calls, without a webinar, without a challenge. So this is where, like, if you look at your YouTube channel and you actually want to sell like consistent sales, like at least $1,000 per day or $2,000-$3,000 per day, you could remove a webinar, you could remove a challenge, and you could just do, obviously better if you have more because they can pick and choose, but you could just ask yourself, like, what are all the things they're thinking about right now? And what's everyone else doing in the market where I can go above and beyond, like you're doing right now? You're doing all these interviews for free and people can just get a lot of value from them. So when they're ready, they go and sign up or they buy something from you. Yeah. And so these are actually more like hidden webinars, and they're not sleazy. You don't feel weird recording them. and you don't feel like you have to convince anyone. It's like, man, we're having fun and we're talking about stuff that we care about. And then when people see this, they feel like, man, these people are genuine. I want to work with them, because others are trying all these things, to get our money, and I just feel like home here.
Yeah. I love that. I just marked that, by the way, so we can get a reel out of that, because that was awesome. But so I want to keep peeling the onion back, as I like to say.
Yep.
You go from $37, and by the way, you said you sold around 1,000 of those courses, right? For the $997. Are those people that bought the $997? Are all of them? Do they buy that 37 first to even get to the $997, or obviously are there other ways that people just go straight to the $997?
Some people just go straight to it. Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool.
Some people just go straight to it because they might want like the tutorials to design or write copy or something. Or just the funnel agencies part where they want to get clients, and it's like, oh, I also want the templates to speed up the delivery.
Got you. What's the next step after $997?
Yeah, so I want to launch like a higher ticket mastermind. A lot of people have like a 20, 30K with in-person stuff, but I'm kind of an introvert, so I like my home and my family. And so I price it lower, and I've sort of productized it. So it used to be that I do a lot of like one-on-one coaching in the inner circle. And by the way, for context, is 5K upfront or 6K through payment plans. And you'll increase a lot of conversions by just having payment plans. So now if you think about recurring revenue, those payment plans become recurring revenue.
Yep.
Um,
That's exactly, by the way, how our coaching program was. I pulled some numbers the other day because I shot a video, and in that video we were showing all the numbers. We had 487 people go through our high ticket coaching program, Dash Elite. And it was exactly that. It was 5K one pay, 6K split up at $500 a month. 98.9% of those people took the payment plan option.
Yeah.
So just
it's a great
the viewers.
It's a great price point as well, because it's not like a 10K program where you almost feel nervous because they've invested all their savings and they're like dependent on you. It's also a different group of people, but I feel like if you want to go broad and you keep it at 5K or 6K with a payment plan, you get more people in, and they're still invested enough to like take it seriously. So a lot of times courses, they kind of sit there and they're like, I'll go in and check it sometimes. But when someone invests 5K, it's like, oh, this is something I need to get results with, which also, helps you and your business, because you get them results, which, snowballs into more people joining.
Dude, there's one thing that you said for all the course creators out there. We've been selling courses for a long time. It's been like 6 years. We've actually sold 4,099 courses to date, like 2 weeks ago when I ran the numbers. So we've sold a lot of courses, right? Courses all the way from, could be $37 or $27, like our agency Launch Secrets, all the way to our $997 courses, right?
Yeah.
It is insane. It's insane how many people buy courses, even at like the $997 rate, and don't even watch them. They buy the course and they log in one time and they just never log in again, right? They don't even watch like the first module or the first lesson. It's insane, right? And that's why I feel like for those people that just go and like buy courses, it's very difficult for them to see success. I feel like a lot of them need the accountability. They need the group coaching. They need somebody, jumping on a call with them 3 times a week, and maybe like a group coaching environment, obviously not one-on-one for 5K, but in like a group coaching environment, like, pushing them, like, do this, do that. Like they need that push. So I'm glad that you said that, because we looked at those metrics and that was actually insane as well.
Yeah.
Like there's so many people that just don't do anything with it.
Yeah. You know what? If someone's listening to this and you're a course creator, here's what you can do to get more students to show up and get them excited and actually go through the course. I used to think that the course has to be like 100% perfect and ready when you launch it. And I'm now on my 4.0 of the same program. And what I've found is that people really appreciate when you update it for free, so they get lifetime access. And what happens is they come back if they're like paused or life happened or something. They come back and they're like, this is amazing, and they get super excited. And they also, because you can do like, if you do like monthly Q&A calls, if you do random live streams, you can create a presentation of what's working now, or this strategy that we're doing in our company. Come and, show up on the call and I'll reveal exactly what it is. So now you're creating a community instead of just a course. So I think the future of courses are not just community. It's sort of like guided. It's guidance with accountability and courses, and it's new information that is like relevant to them right now. So you know what industry I like to follow to actually improve my coaching and education? I follow the crypto YouTube guys, because what they do is like they prepare a lot for a live stream, and they like have these Twitter updates and data, and like they bring this excitement. They do a show, and they're like, tomorrow it could look totally different, or next week when you tune in. So it's like, oh, things change and people don't want to like miss out on information. So if you look at your courses the same way, it's like, I developed a new framework, here's 3 things that I discovered you can't miss out on, and you do a training on that, then you keep it fresh. And it's like they don't even have to go through the full course. Sometimes a small video gets them excited to go in and watch that one module again. It's like, oh, I want to refresh my memory on that.
And they get notified when you upload it, right?
Yeah, and then you take,
notified.
if you create it as a masterclass, you put it into the course as well. But now you can post it in the Facebook group or in your community, or you can even live stream if you want to. But it's like, keep it fresh and keep it at least like bi-weekly, have something new that you're adding. And guess you can also like remove stuff when you're like, oh, that video from 2 years ago, man, I don't know, the production wasn't there or whatever. You can update it and just keep it fresh. And I think people love that.
I love that. That's a good idea. I want to get into another question that I had, because you said a couple of things here. You talked about your personal brand. You said that you were also in the process of building your personal brand.
Yeah.
I'm assuming probably a lot on YouTube, right? YouTube's a big platform, right? I've been trying to do the same. I think I'm up to like 6,000 subs on YouTube right now, which is not a lot. It's nothing crazy, but I haven't really posted a lot at all, really, in the last couple of years. I'm starting to now do obviously these podcasts. We're going to post them on YouTube. We're going to do a bunch of reels and stuff. So we have like a little content strategy to get us some momentum again. What are you doing on YouTube to basically build momentum, get new subscribers, and also are you monetizing on YouTube as well?
Well, so with YouTube, let's talk monetization first, because I think a lot of people believe if you have like 1 million subscribers or 100K subscribers, then you're going to be rich. And what I've actually found is you can have a super small audience. Like I would say the goal that you really want to be at is like 10,000, but like actual fans. So a big trend right now, for example, is people doing free courses, like 2-hour courses, 4-hour courses. One of my friends, Jordan Bowen, in e-commerce, he uploaded an 18-hour e-com course. It has 1.6 million views.
That's crazy.
So imagine if you had to spend, money on advertising to get 1.6 million people to see it and watch like quite a bit of that 18-hour course. But he builds it once, took him a lot of time, but now it lives on forever. So it's like when you have that, you just like he's making 7 figures, like 6-figure per month from affiliate marketing alone from that video, because it's a free course there, but you have a link to a free course in a library. And so these are assets. So think about it as like real estate, but digital assets. And so every video I think about as an asset. And sometimes I feel more inspired and I'm like, now let's make a really good video. Sometimes I just sit down and I press record and I barely edit. And that's just because life happens and we have a lot of things that we're working on. And it's like, I don't take it too seriously. But I think YouTube is definitely a long-term play where you're like, there's a lot of ways you could go about it. One is you just film a lot of tutorials about a specific topic. So you're just helping people. They start following you for the tutorials and the how to do this, how to do that. But then you could also, like if you look at Hamza, he has 2 million, what's his, Hamza, I forgot his full name. But he has 2 million subscribers, and he's just telling stories and helping young men, be more masculine, have more energy, be productive, and all these things. And so he doesn't do tutorials at all. And it's like he's found his thing, and he just doubled down. So that one thing I wanted to do when I got into funnels was I just want to dominate whenever they're looking for something. So I know if they go on Google or YouTube, they look for how to do this, they're already a customer, because otherwise they wouldn't be thinking about it. Like DashClicks, for example, if they try to Google how to use DashClicks or DashClicks tutorial, like they're a warm, super hot lead. And so I built a multi-6-figure affiliate marketing business doing just simple tutorials. And then I added other stuff later, like here's how I'm making money. And then people start asking, like, how do you get clients? So I did videos about that. And it's kind of this ever-evolving game as well. You can't stick too long on just one topic because your audience gets bored and you get bored and then you burn out. So you want to keep it fresh always.
how frequently, because everybody has like this content schedule that they try to hit, and I know the
Yeah.
world happens, and that for me, very hard to stick to it. But
Yeah.
how frequently are you posting?
So right now it's about one per week. At one point it was three per week.
Wow,
During
that's a lot.
December, I did like a 24-day sprint, one video per day for
Holy
24
moly!
days. But it's actually not even helpful to do it that that often, because if you think about it, like business owners are busy. Like imagine if you went every single day to the same channel and was a 20-minute video, and it was about like maybe more tactical or technical where you had to think about it. It would you would stop watching it because you'd be overwhelmed. Versus like a TV show, like a lot of people are probably familiar with the show Friends. You don't have to think. You can have lunch in your office and just watch Friends or sports, for example. So like it also depends on what type of content you're producing.
And the videos that you're posting, they're long form, 15, 20-minute style videos.
Yeah, I've done like 7 to 10 minute as well, where it's more I actually want to just get like as much as possible into a video. I would say if someone is listening, they're like, I want to have a course, I want to set up a funnel and create a YouTube channel that drives all the traffic to that course, to the funnel, to sell the course. It's actually better to do less quantity and more quality. So actually plan out the videos and think about what's the hook. Like this interview, for an example, the first 30 to 60 seconds should just be like a highlight reel of I say one thing, then you bleep out like the keyword, and it's
That's
like
exactly what
this.
we do.
Yeah, it's like this massive reel so that people, if you have enough like open loops, they have to close them. And how do you close them? By
Yep.
watching it to find out like what we're
Yeah.
talking about. And this is the YouTube game. Some people like
That's
it, some
funny.
people hate it.
Yeah, that's exactly what we do. So, for most of you guys, if you guys are watching this podcast, you'll see me, my hands on my mouse here. It's because we use Riverside to record, and I can hit markers right
Mm,
inside of Riverside, which gives my editor the positioning to know, hey, this was a really fire spot inside of the video. Take this and do something with it. Create a reel or put it in the first part of
yeah.
the intro for the hook, right? So, yeah, and when I'm also curious about your post production because your videos are really high resolution.
Mm,
Obviously, they look like just really good quality videos.
mm.
So aside from just like your setting, your area, your studio, what are you doing like post production? Is there like a whole process, or are you just saying, I'm going to sit in front of the camera, I'm going to shoot this 20-minute video, I'm going to send it to my editor, and he's just going to deal with it, and I'll post it a couple days later?
So there's a couple of things that I do. A lot of people ask like, how do you get the blurred out background, like the lighting and stuff like that. And it's funny, we're recording this on my laptop right now in my home office, and I don't have my cameras here. We're talking about my equipment, and it's at my other office. So I got a new place because it's bigger, it's brighter. I wanted to get a new environment to shoot from, but it's basically just having like the right lenses with the right cameras where it's like full frame. You have let's say I do a 50 milli 1.4 lens, which means 1.4 it's going to be blurry in the background. 50 milli is going to be like I need like 2 meters. I don't know how many feet that's in US, but there's like a certain amount of space in front of me but also behind me, right? So it's like this whole um set design behind how I film the videos, and then also lighting. So like for example, if it's middle of the day, I got big windows. I need to also control the lighting so that it's not too light, and then the background is too light. Like there's all these things which is pretty technical. It's a lot of details that goes into it, but
And
once
once
you've
you
set
have
it
it
up,
set
it's like
up, yeah, you
once it's
got it.
set up, you want to systemize it so that it's like hit one button and record.
Yeah. Like for
Right.
me, and I've said this on multiple podcasts, so I'm repeating myself, but I'm going to say it again because,
Yeah.
like, for me, my goal this year is we also have a studio, and inside of the studio is where we host a lot of our bigger events, like the challenges in the studio, like a lot of those
Mm.
other things that we do. But this year, I was like, dude, every time I go to the studio, it is such a headache because it's like an hour of setup time to set up
Yep.
all the lights and the cameras and get everything working. Then it's like audio, video checks, right? And then I have to have a person in there with me that's actually shooting everything
Yep.
because we have it built where we have the studio, and then in the room next door is basically like the live broadcast room where we have the whole computer set up and it's broadcasting and all that
Yeah.
fun stuff, right? It's like it's just, and then the post, right? We got to clean everything up. And I said to myself this year, I said, I just want to lock myself in my room. And like, if I'm going to shoot a podcast like this, I don't want to have to go to the studio. It's just going to be it's like a 3-4 hour thing. I want to just hit record. So all I did was I literally put up these little things behind me, these little square things. I don't even know what it's called. I have a light that's coming out of the bottom. I took this mic and have it to my desk. I got my headset. So like literally I can come in and out of these videos.
It's perfect.
And I'm in and out, and that's it. And I just take it and I have it sent to my editor. And my editor for the podcast, we don't really do much editing, but like if I'm doing like videos or anything on YouTube, it's just so much easier than going to the studios. All my webinars, the past 3 webinars that I've done right here from my computer. I didn't even step foot into the studio.
It's convenience. Yeah, because like let's say you have a video idea, and if you have to set up stuff for 1 hour, you already brain fried.
Man. Yeah, it sucks.
Yeah,
it
so
really does.
It's like the time from idea to execution. Like one thing I do is I use a cam link to my computer, so I can open up QuickTime on my MacBook, and I see myself from the camera angles that I have. So I have 2 of them. I can see, okay, I have 2 cameras. I can see what they look like, and then I go and hit record on the actual camera. So my quality is better because I'm not filming through the computer. So even if you have all this set up, you actually don't need a person at the office, and you don't need all the crazy stuff. You come in, you switch on the lights, you keep them at the same place all the time. You open up QuickTime and just look at, okay, the focus is there, the lighting is good. And then you do a separate audio through QuickTime and you film on the camera with SD cards. Then you upload everything to a folder and you forget about it. Then it's the editor's job, and that's it's a lot of work, but that's what you hire them for.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. And like when you're doing tutorial style videos where you're sharing your screen, a lot of the times in your videos and obviously other people's videos when they're doing like tutorials or anything like that, or maybe even not even tutorials, maybe you're just front face, but you're talking about something. And there's all of these things that fly into the screen, right? These animations with the screen showing, what you're talking about, right? Like that's the stuff that I'm talking about. Like when I'm shooting videos, if I'm not like sharing my screen and actually me personally showing those things, the person after that's doing post-production, right, they don't know what I'm talking about a lot of the times, right? So like what do you do in those situations? Are you like literally like, okay, in this at this point when I'm talking about this, use this clip?
I'm going to give you the best advice ever. So what you do, the second you're done filming is when you have the freshest memory. So you go, okay, what are all the things that I need to upload? So it's called B-roll. A-roll is the camera angle. B-roll is everything you add, their supporting elements. So if you talk about the challenge that you did, the editor can add an animation of the challenge and people can see what you're talking about. So when you're done filming, you go, okay, these are the 5 things I was talking about that I know I'll need. You upload it to a Google Drive folder, and then you just have a WhatsApp chat. And a lot of people use like Slack and everything. What you want to do as the CEO is use the app that you use every single day, and they come to that app, so it's easy for you. Because if you have to go somewhere and it's like removing friction. You want to remove all the friction because content creation is hard as it is. So now, because you have the WhatsApp chat with them, and if you have multiple editors, you have them all in a group chat, so they can also support each other. Like, hey, who's got the link to this challenge? Oh, it's this link, so they can go in and grab the screenshot of it. And so, obviously, the longer you work with an editor, they're gonna understand. Oh, he's talking about this thing. Oh, he's talking about the thing he mentioned 2 months ago in another video. And so you upload as much as possible the second you're done filming. And then there's like maybe a couple of things that they might need, but they ask you when they have their first draft. So you can give them like all at once, not one here, tomorrow morning they ask another thing, 10 p.m. tonight they ask you another thing. Because that's when it like content becomes something you actually end up hating, and you're not going to do a lot of it if it sucks.
Well, that's what happened to me in 2023. I found myself just hating to do content. So I wanted to do something simple, right? And that's what I'm doing, and it's working for me, which is great.
And it's actually for anyone, I just want to say this because some people might be like, oh, Gusten's saying you should only do quality videos on YouTube. Right now, there's actually a trend for, some people say it's like authenticity. They just want like simple videos. If you look at Sam Sulek, he has millions of followers and he's just vlogging every single day. It's the same thing. He's in the gym. And it's no fancy editing or anything. They say it's because it's authentic. And I agree to some extent. But I also think that it's actually there's a lack of people. I would say people are so tired of watching these like fast editing for 20 minutes that their brains sort of get fried. It's dopamine, right? Like when something happens, it's like dopamine. So imagine if you're already feeling like stressed out from a job, you sit down and you want to relax, and the video goes like crazy for 20 minutes. It's like, I feel exhausted by watching that. Versus having like someone just sitting out and talking like this. That's why people like podcasts. They can almost just keep it on in the background when they go for a walk.
Yeah,
That's why I
just
listen to
chill
them.
and listen. I love
Yeah,
those video
so
podcasts.
like if you make a video where it's kind of like you tone it down and you're just like on their level, and they see it's like, yes, it's authentic, but it's also not exhausting for their brain.
Yeah.
And then they go, oh man, I like this. This just feels like we're hanging out.
When you, I want to go into one more question, and we'll wrap up the
Yeah.
personal branding thing here, because I got some more for you.
Yep.
When you are recording these one videos per week, and well, let's say you're done, you load everything up to the Google Drive, you send them to the video editor. How long does it take for post production to happen? Are you waiting like a week to get your video back, and then you schedule it out? Like, what does it look like after you do what you just said?
I think for a content creator, you don't want to schedule too much, like, because you actually want it to be like art and a craft that you're like imagine the the sense of progress, and it's probably a dopamine, but it's a slower one where you think about a video, you film it, you edit it. Let's say it takes 3 days, and then you upload it. You get the thumbnail, you upload it. It feels good. Like it's like, okay, man, we finished this project. It's like a funnel project. And so then the video goes to work for you, and it brings in leads and sales. So now you're actually using that dopamine, that feel good dopamine, to create a new one. But if you schedule out like 20 videos, you're depriving yourself of that feel good dopamine, because there's no reward system, right? So sure, you can schedule it to like this Sunday or next Monday, like a week out. But you actually want it to be close enough where it's like, I would love if this episode goes live, in a week from now. And so it's like, I think it's actually helpful to not have too much schedule, because then again, it becomes a machine. And as entrepreneurs, I think that we're more creative and we're more builders, and we're more visionary than like robotic machines that are just like, hey, we need another episode, we need another video, the schedule says we need to film something.
What was the coolest video that you shot that you loved the most, that maybe got the most views?
It's not a business video. It's my full Ironman. So when I did a full Ironman, it took me 15 hours. I say I almost died. I didn't actually like almost die, but it felt like that. But we created a documentary out of it. And what was so fulfilling was there was no demand, like we had to make money from it. But it became a part of my brand as well, where it's like, you never just want it to be about this one thing, like funnels or AI or software or agency. Like, you want it to be like this and then that. That's like unique. Like if you ask me like, what do I see from the outside from you, it would probably be that it's like the software in the agency space, and then it's a family man. Like that's what I see. And it's like, I don't know if you've done it on purpose or if it's just sort of just happened. But you could also think about this, like, what's unique about me that I can incorporate into those videos. So it's like this triangle almost of like business, family, and Ironman, and whatever it is.
Yeah, it adds some spice and fun to it. It's
and personality too.
Yeah. Do you also post on social a lot? Like IG posts, TikTok, stuff like that, or are you primarily on YouTube?
And I've tried the multi-page approach on Instagram and TikTok, where we clipped our videos and we did a lot of like edits and created like theme pages and everything. It takes away from, unless you have a CEO, COO running it. But for me, it took away from the fun of it, because again, I was trying to create a machine to scale it up. So instead, what we're doing, content, it has to be genuine and fun, because that's how I'll do it for a decade more. Then we're using ads to create those low ticket self-liquidating funnels on the front end. So I'm leaning more towards that. Instead of doing all organic, I just want to scale it up with traffic. We're also doing a lot of like back end email promotions that we're starting to do, and partnerships, collaborations, sort of on the back end that people don't see on social media. But we have a huge email list that we've acquired and stuff like that that I can't really talk about right now, but it's like behind the scenes to get from like thousands of people seeing a video to how do we reach millions of people.
Wow. Yeah, you know what? For me, I've tried social. I've been in and out of social media for a long time.
Yeah.
And when I say in and out of social media, we're friends on Facebook. Like, I
Yeah.
very rarely post anything. I'm more of like
Mm.
the weird guy that's just like looking at everything in the background. Just like I don't post. I don't post. I don't really engage much.
Mm.
And I used to do it a lot. Like when I first started my company, social agency, like my first company in 2009.
Yeah.
That's when social media obviously started becoming a trend, like around that time, right? But like even in Dash Clicks in 2000, late 2018, we opened Dash Clicks. Like the first year or two, like man, I was doing social media. I was going live all the time when lives were a thing, right? It was like, but I got burnt out, man. Like it's
Yeah.
not fun for me. I don't like posting. In fact, I'm also like an introvert, even though I'm loud and all that
Yeah.
stuff on like webinars and challenges. Like I'm actually an introvert. Like it's like a
Yeah.
weird combo that I have.
Well,
Um,
have you heard about the concept of entrepreneurs evolving every like 3 years?
they do, yeah.
Every 3 years,
I
there's
just
like
had
that.
Alex Sharfin on a podcast, and we literally talked about that whole thing about like the
Yeah.
evolution, the $1 billion
And
code that he has, and the evolution of
and he just closed down his company.
really,
Yeah,
wow,
he announced it recently, and he said we're closing it down. We're gonna see what happens, but we're closing it down. And I could see it from his content that he's sort of moving into more maybe personal development, like just different stuff that isn't so much like systems and business and routine. It's like in another space, and like
yeah,
that's totally fine as well. Like he's already made it in this space,
yeah,
and I think that's beautiful because how many people scale for the wrong reasons, the numbers, the ego, the status, and then they're like, what would you actually want to do? Like how many people ask themselves like, man, if I could just start over, what would I do? For me, this one I realized I love content because I'm like, if I start over, you know what I'm going to do? No employees, no schedule, not even revenue goals. My only goal is going to be profitable and to create stuff that people love. If I can do that every single day, then people are going to buy it. I'm going to be like, okay, what else do you need? And I build funnel templates and I do videos when I want to, and I take a day off when I want to. And it's like, it becomes more like a flow, creative, long-term thing versus, hey, we got to hit the numbers. Something's wrong. And you create problems that aren't really problems because of outsider perspective and influences.
yeah. You're spot on, brother. Like spot on. Yeah, because I'm in the same shoes. Like we have a lot of employees, big overhead, big team.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, it's just like every entrepreneur, you're fighting every day. It's like there's different
Yeah.
challenges across everything in the
Yeah.
organization. But dude, Alex is awesome. I love him. We just had him on a couple weeks ago on the podcast. He's amazing. He's been in our network for a long time as well.
Yeah,
He's
it's
been on
great.
tons of webinars and stuff. He was on our challenge, the Funnel Freedom Challenge. But man, it's crazy because you can see like these it's almost like the journey, right? It's like everybody's on their journey and like they're at different stages in their life, and that was, I guess, just his stage. Like he needed to do maybe
Yeah.
something else, right?
It takes courage to change it when you're like, man, I want to do
Yeah,
something else. Because there's, every choice has consequences, but it's like, okay, are you going to please others? Who at the end of the day, they're looking out for themselves, or are you gonna do what's right for you and your family and your loved
yeah,
ones?
I agree. Where do you see yourself next? What's the next step for Gusten?
My next step is I've debated going like all CEO mode and like actually scale because there's also a creative part in building infrastructure. I think there's a season for that. So I'm always an open book. For me, I'm still a little bit longer in the phase of like building and exploring infrastructure, company collaborations, and part of my company got acquired by private equity. So now I'm an owner in the private equity company as well. And so that's what we're acquiring other assets. And it's like, it's fun. It's different. But I also know that it's not my long-term thing. Like you have to be self-aware to be like, okay, what do I want to do like long-term? So this is what I'm doing. I'm learning a lot.
Yeah,
And I see it as a blessing, not as something that's like hard. And I'm sure every entrepreneur knows how hard it is to build a business, especially like I don't know what it's like for you, Chad, because you're further ahead, you have a bigger team, more overhead, and we're on different paths. But all of that leads you to a place. And so anytime in the future you can then leverage that because you've built those skills and everything. And that's what I'm on right now on the mission to just become the best version of myself through pushing myself when it's hard, almost like looking for the hard thing to conquer. But I also know it's not going to be forever. And if it ever gets to a point where it's like detrimental for me, my mental health, if I have a burnout or something, I will pivot, and I won't be afraid to say like, nah, this is not me anymore. I'm totally cool like starting over again, because to me it's more about the creative expression of both developing myself, but also just like, how can I do something that most people haven't tried? Like, can I change the way people sell courses? Can I change the way people do affiliate marketing?
That's the
Like, I'm
exciting
always
part.
looking at like doing things that are like fun and different.
Yeah, for me, like I can just get some insight into my world. Like I get like
Yeah.
we talked about dopamine earlier today, right? It's like
Yeah.
where you get like all this dopamine. Like for me, I'm at the point where I'm working on like I call them mini projects just internally,
Mm.
right? It's like I take this project, it could be anything across because we have different divisions in our company. It could
Yeah.
be, our DashX is built basically into three divisions. It's software,
Mm.
our fulfillment services, and our education, which is like
Yeah.
courses and coaching, right? So it's like me meeting with the team members from those teams, seeing what issues are coming across or things that we need to fix or new launches that we'll need to do. It's like I call them
Yeah.
like mini projects, right?
Yeah.
And usually I'm working on a handful of mini projects a lot of times at the same time, because
Mm-hmm.
maybe it's like I work on a piece and then somebody else is working and I have like a couple days of doing nothing, right? So I pick up a couple mini projects, and like every time I launch one of these mini projects, it's like a dopamine thing. It's like, okay,
Yeah.
that's off, let's put it in, let's see what happens, right? What are the
Yeah.
results? Did we increase conversions? Did we increase show up
Yeah.
rate? Did we get more traffic? Whatever it was, did we get more
Yeah.
sales? Were people happier, right? What were these things that we did, right? So for me, for like the past, I would say like at least 1 year, I've been dealing with like, not dealing, but I've been doing like mini projects. And for
Yeah.
me, what I found is where I get the most excitement is I like to build things, and then I like to put them out into the world, and then I like to see what happens. I like to see the result of them. But I
Yeah.
have a problem internally. I like to do them very frequently. So that's why I
Mm.
take mini projects and I won't take on large projects that might take
Mm.
months or years because I'll get burnt out, right? I like to
Yeah.
have like quick dopamine coming in and get the excitement and move to the next thing, right? That's why a lot of the times you'll see people build these amazing things and then they'll launch it out into the world, right? Whatever it is, it could be a software,
Yeah.
it could be a course, whatever it is that they do. It takes them like 3 months, a year to build the thing. They launch it,
Yeah.
they're just burnt out, and then they
Yeah. You're
just
burnt
go on to
out.
the
Yeah.
next thing, right? So it's like, yeah, like I'm aware of that for myself, and like I find myself strategically bouncing around and working on mini
That's
projects to
smart.
create that dopamine for myself.
Yeah.
Um, but
One
yeah,
thing.
man, yeah, go
One
ahead.
thing. One thing I'll add for people who are like maybe feeling burnt out or feeling like they're pulled in too many different directions. One thing that helped me when I was starting to feel burnt out a couple of weeks ago was I said, "Man, I'm letting myself sort of be handled by my team and everyone else, where I no longer feel like my gift is being shared to as many people as possible, which only comes through creation and when I have like mental space and I have time to create stuff." So I said, well, why don't I divide my week into like different hats? So Fridays, for example, is my social day. I do coaching on Fridays. But like then I have certain days where I do just content creation. So imagine you wake up and you have no meetings the entire day. How easy is it to, well, first of all, you have to fight the social media addictions and all that. But if
Yeah,
you can just focus and do your mini project just that day, and your entire team knows that
yep,
he's probably not going to reply, maybe when he's done with everything else, or when he's having dinner or lunch or something, but he's going to be focused on the one thing. And then the next day, you're maybe doing admin stuff, or you're doing something else that some other people need from you. But now you know that that's that what type of day. So you're not blaming yourself for not being creative, because creativity was yesterday. And then you have a social day, and you have like different
yeah, that's
days.
cool.
And so you're also allowing yourself and giving yourself grace for not always like getting stuff done where you feel productive, right? And it's helped me at least be more in my own zone, and also set sort of standards for how we do things in the company.
Yeah, I like that, man. You're just scheduling out different days to focus on
Yep.
different things. Like there's stuff that I hate doing in my company. I hate it,
Yeah.
right? I really do. I hate it, right?
Yeah.
And one, it's like a lot of the times it's not just like, oh, let me just find somebody else to do it. It's things that I
Yeah.
have to actually do myself,
Yeah.
right? So I will schedule out those things. But yeah, you're right. Like what I do on my end is I'll block out the whole day. And
Yeah.
I'm working on this. A lot of the times what I'll do is, because they're mini projects, and a lot of the times it's like a couple of days usually is what I'm referring to. These, I'll just block it out. I'm like, okay, well, this time, maybe the first half of the day I'm going to work on this mini project, and the second half of the day I'm going to work on this mini project, and my day's blocked, right? Or like for example, podcasts, I kind of screwed myself, to be honest, because what I did with the podcast was I use Calendly for booking. But what I did was I basically blocked out where people could book podcasts within like the first 2 hours of the day or the last 2 hours of my day. So it wasn't like sporadic podcasts that were like always around the same time. What I'm actually going to do moving forward is I'm only going to do podcasts like one day of the week. And whoever wants to book podcasts, they can just book them all in that one day. And I'll just knock out 5 podcasts in one day. It doesn't matter, right? I'll get it all done in one day, and it doesn't have to sporadically hit my calendar throughout the week, right? Because I was
Here's
just saying, because your flow, it's hard to keep the flow.
I agree. Yeah, because you're in that mode. So you could do like coaching. If you do that, you could do maybe even sales calls and podcasts the same day, because it's kind of that type of day. But now, because you've done a lot of episodes, you could do just like 2 per week or 2 bi-weekly, and just keep it fresh. And it's like faster release, and so it helps with distribution and everything. And it doesn't have to become one of those like, oh, today is 5 calls, 5 interviews, and you're like, let's say you're feeling a little bit tired or off, and you have 5 of them booked. So having less of them, but yes, having them like on that one day, it's perfect.
Yeah, you can imagine how my calendar was the last 4 weeks. I booked 30 something podcasts, close to 40 podcasts. I've shot probably close to 30 of them already, right? And they're each 45-minute episodes. So like every day I had at least 2 podcasts booked every single day for like the past month. It's been insane, right? But now I have a lot of content that we're going to use for repurposing, all that good stuff. So I'm like booked out until I think like the end of July for content, which is crazy.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so now I can hang out for the next couple of months and just have that creative space.
Yeah,
I just did my
that's great. You get to do your YouTube for fun. You're like, whatever I want to talk about today, that's what I'll do.
Yeah, well, I do like webinars, or sometimes I'll think of something that's like, this is a really cool thing that we did in our business. I want to share it with other people. I'll just shoot a Loom. I'll keep it simple, dude. I'll shoot a Loom video, and I'll do a little intro. I'll get a thumbnail, and I'll just upload it. I'll try to keep it really, really simple. But man, all right, I know we're running out of time, Gusten. If anybody is interested in reaching out to you for any of your stuff related to funnels, education, services for funnels, where's the best place that they can hit you up?
I would say Instagram for messaging if they need something, or YouTube. I have a lot of like free stuff, and we're actually uploading a 10-hour free course on YouTube. So by the time this comes out, it's probably on YouTube, a 10-hour free course on funnels, how to become a funnel builder, all that stuff. Awesome. I have a free community with us as well, but you'll find all the links on YouTube. So
love it, man. Well, thank you so much for your time. We appreciate you as always, and hopefully we'll have you back on here in the near future and see where you are in your journey.
Yes, sir. This is great. Right, thank you, brother. Take care.
Hey, do you want more of the Behind the Revenue podcast? Look, join our private Facebook group where marketing agencies from all over the world are sharing strategies, network, and scale their businesses together. Visit facebook.com/groups/-clicks to get instant access. And also, if this podcast helped you in any way, please do me a favor, share it with friends, leave us a review on iTunes or Spotify. That really helps build our community.